Our top story this hour is the French Yellow Vest movement now echoing around the world. We're seeing similar demonstrations pop up in Taiwan and even in Germany, where an MP from the left party is urging people to rally like the French.
There should be more resistance in Germany. We need more people to come to the streets. That's how we'll achieve our aims. Let's pressure the government, the politicians, to bring about social justice.
The inequality issues in Germany are even worse than in France because the neoliberal policies that Emmanuel Macron is moving forward in France have already been passed in German parliament. So we are seeing the effects firsthand. German establishment is scared because they know that their position is untenable. They know what they have done to this country, and they know that the people are angry. One of the problems in France is that the movement is not coordinated enough, but they are just starting out and forming leaderships. In Germany, we already have an undisputed leader of the movement, which is Sarah Wagenknecht. She has incredible political experience, and she can provide that leadership to guide us to a change in our country.
Meanwhile, environmental groups in France are working to sue the country over climate inaction. RT Charlotte Dubinsky has the latest.
Well, it seems this was not the present that Macron was hoping to find under his Christmas tree on Christmas Day. This petition that's backed by 4 charities, including 2 charities here in France, which is calling for the French state to be sued over its inaction on climate change. And it's not just garnered more than 1.6 million signatures, it's also being backed now by French celebrities.
We are simply going to sue the French state
for its inaction regarding climate change.
We're trying to force the state to drastically reduce emissions.
Another headache, perhaps, for President Macron, who's already been having a difficult few weeks as the Yellow Vest protests continue. They've been going on now for more than 6 weeks. Some of the weekends here in Paris have seen what have been described as the worst riots in more than half a century. Now, they all started 6 weeks ago on November 17th over plans to increase attacks on fuel here in France. Now, that led to President Trump in the US to mock President Macron over that.
The Paris Agreement isn't working out so well for Paris. Protests and riots all over France. People do not want to pay large sums of money, much to third world countries, they're questionably run, in order to maybe protect the environment. Chanting, "We want Trump," love France.
4 weeks after the protest started, President Macron turned around and said, "Do you know what? OK, I've heard your cries. We're actually going to scrap that fuel tax increase on emissions." Now, the Yellow Vest protesters haven't been totally appeased by that, and it seems that President Macron has angered environmentalists by making that decision. Many people saying you can't sit on the fence when it comes to climate change. How can you scrap a fuel tax which is meant to be used for money to improve the environment and say at the same time that you're fighting to protect the environment?
The international community remains committed to the fight against climate change. France and Europe must show the way. The fight goes on.
And this comes amidst bad pollings for President Macron as well. Current polling suggests that he's at 27%, far lower than when he came into office, when that was around 60%. So it seems the festive period not so festive for President Macron, and it seems the French president is on many people's naughty list this year.
To talk more about the latest coming out of France, we're joined now by former UK Member of Parliament George Galloway. George, thank you so much for being here today. Now, earlier this month, the French president, he announced a €13.4 billion package of concessions, including a rise in the minimum wage, in hopes of diffusing the anger among the protesters. While this is a victory for the movement, what does this say about Macron's political future?
Well, he's showering euros down the Champs-Élysées. He's broken the bank. He's broken the EU monetary and fiscal rules. of which he was once a rigid champion. And, by the way, the EU are allowing him to get away with that, but not the Italian government that is running a lower deficit now than him. So that's one of the reasons why this is spreading, because it works. The president's popularity has plunged through the floor, and concessions are being made, showered like confetti from the government. So after all these years of austerity and rigid neoliberal economic orthodoxy, suddenly people power is winning. And that's why it's reached, as your package said, as far away as Asia, Thailand, all over Europe, and in London on the 12th of January. Make a note in your diary of that date. It's going to be a red letter day, or maybe a yellow vest day.
We'll definitely look out for that day. As it comes to the protesters in France, they got what they want. So what's their ultimate goal here?
Well, they've only got some of what they want. They want the president to go. Macron, dégagé. They want him to go, to disappear. He is the most patrician, aristocratic leader that France has had since the Bourbons, when Marie Antoinette told the crowd who said they had no bread, then why don't they eat cake? And that's the kind of atmosphere that exists in France now. Not for the first time, France is showing the rest of Europe and beyond the way to go.
Now, protesters, they could have a far more extreme leader like far-right Marine Le Pen. What are your thoughts on that?
No, she's not the leader, and by the way, neither are the left the leaders. Once upon a time, these protests would be wearing not yellow vests, but red ones, or red stars, or Che Guevara images, or a different kind of iconography. This neutral iconography, of which, as someone who likes to dress well, I'm not that fond. I don't look forward to donning my own yellow vest. Doesn't quite suit me. But this neutral iconography is one of the reasons why it is spreading, because it's neither left nor right. You don't have to like Che Guevara to be on the streets against President Macron. You don't have to like Marine Le Pen either. So it's without a program, it's without a leader, it's somewhat incoherent, but my goodness, is it powerful.
George, we have about a minute left here. As you were saying earlier, the Yellow Vest movement, it's spreading, and it's spreading to Taiwan, Germany. But into Taiwan, today, thousands of protesters, mainly students, they rallied for the third time, demanding lower taxes. In the future, could we see this movement spread to other countries, including here in the U.S.?
I believe so, because there's a collapse in legitimacy, in credibility, but especially legitimacy of ruling systems all over the world. And a measure of that is how they try to blame it on the president of Russia, as if Russia was dictating what happened everywhere, from Taiwan to Marseille, to Paris, to London. It is ridiculous, you know, and it's a measure of the desperation of the prevailing classes in the world, that they cannot see that their own people have had enough of them and want them all to go. It's not just Macron they want to dégager. They want rid of the ruling elites in countries almost all over the world.
And George, we're going to have to wait and see if that happens. Thank you so much for your insight.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.